Today's CS2 update has some crazy changes, which is not something I say lightly. New features, big layout magic to Vertigo, and other cool stuff. So let's talk about it right after Skin Baron. Skin Baron is a marketplace with millions of skins to buy and sell for real money. This means having cash not locked to your Steam account. Speaking of Steam, it's 30% cheaper on Skin Baron compared to the Steam market. Front page offers quick recommendations, but you also have your precious categories at the top with previews of each skin if you're picky. The selling process is super simple. It's safe to use, and your money goes straight to your bank account. But make sure you click the link down below to explore Skin Baron's marketplace, the sponsor of this video. Now, updates are especially fun to cover when there's a gameplay section, and we did get one of those in this update, starting with changes made to the fire spreaders. For both the Molly and Incendiary, the Pillar of the Flame will now lower over time, as you can see in this comparison. A lot of people complain about not being able to see through, and this feels like a middle ground cleverish solution, which Valve are big fans of. But that's not the only change they made, since a lot of other changes to this update focuses heavily on distinguishing the two fire spreaders. Take a look at the new Incendiary. The color has changed to green, and they also reduced the duration of it plus the area that it covers. But to validate the debuff, they reduced the price of it down from 600 to 500. As a quick reminder, the Molly is still at 400. In the past, these two were very similar, and now they've definitely got their own characteristics, which is pretty cool. Next up, Valve has finally done something about the economy, which so many people have requested changes to in regards to MR12, which for you new people just means less rounds played in a competitive match. Now, I make it sound like there's some huge change to the economy, but it's actually very subtle. In the past, when T's planted the package but the other team defuses it, the T's used to get 800 for that. Now they will only get 600. This change is to make sure that winning the first round doesn't make the next rounds too easy for the T's. We're talking about 200 here, but that might be enough to reconsider buying a Galil second round. Overall, I think this is a pretty safe but very good change. Speaking of money, Valve decided to fiddle with the M4 prices again, which is a reoccurring theme for years, and this time the regular M4 has gotten its price reduced from 3,100 to 3,000. This change is obviously to make you believe that the regular M4 has a chance in this race, but the biggest positive news to its price reduction is being able to drop it to that one teammate who refuses to play with the silencer and being able to save an extra 100. For deathmatch related news, a Reddit post showed us how it's possible to change the bonus weapon to whatever you want in order to cheat in deathmatch, out of all places. Valve were quick to find a solution to this where changing the loadout does nothing. Finally, they've made changes to the camera movement in first person, which I've made a budget comparison for, but I can't really tell the difference. You'll have to be the judge. Now, this next section of the update is all about Valve looking for ways to make more money, and the surprise we have today is the ability to rent skins. That's not a joke. For research purposes, here's how renting works, and it currently only works on the Kilowatt case. After buying the key needed for the case, I now get a secondary option where I can open to rent. If I click this option, the case and key will disappear. I'll receive all of the weapons from the case, with random floats by the way, and they're all stuck to my account. Once the week is over, they disappear, and if you have them equipped, then the game will just replace your skins with the weapon's default look. By letting players rent all the weapons for a week, they encourage people to spend more money on keys. And if it's successful, then they will add the renting feature to more cases and make even more money. And to be honest, it's genius, because you are not just renting one skin, but the entire collection from the case. Renting the entire collection makes no difference to Valve, but it's just more likely that you will end up spending more money now on keys to get the skins that you want. So now we have renting in this game. Still hard to believe. Apparently some people can see the benefits of it, but let's move on. For the HUD section, there's a bunch of fixes here. 2 of them are relevant to upvoted Reddit posts, and this last one is actually pretty sweet. Basically, if you have Steam avatars disabled on other players, it should also disable their name tags and sticker placements to, you know, censor any other crap. But for the moment, it's not working according to the duck, which is fine. They'll probably add it in tomorrow or something. Next up, we have brand spanking meta evolving game-changing chicken updates. Chickens can now sit, chickens can now walk up hills, oh, and chickens can now turn right when they're walking. Moving on is the demo section, and this time the updates were actually pretty cool since we have kill and death events in the timeline. You can toggle playback to highlight mode to only show those parts. Some of this seems a bit broken on older demos, but they also finally fixed being able to quit out after a demo is finished. Finally, we get to maps, but really this update is all about one. Ultimately, Overpass was kicked out of the map pool, not Vertigo, which a lot of people figured would be the one, and this update shows us Valve's own plans for the map. 2 new passages have opened to a site, and 1 path has been removed, which you will see soon. But I want to start by focusing on this comparison here, since you would think that opening up the elevator room would expose too much of Short or Ivy. But it doesn't, and that's good for balancing the map. From the other side, you can see the actual change it made, and it's pretty drastic. And now we also see these new railings outside, which is also a significant change to how the map is going to be played. I also can't help it, but from a stylistic point, it does look kind of stale. It's kind of a stretch. And this is how it opens up on the left, which, by the way, intuitively, it makes sense to open these 2 new passageways just from how the map is designed. But also with these changes, they decided to literally shut the door, which makes sense. It would cause too many overpowered angles. Personally speaking, I like when maps get updated and offer new variety in gameplay. And I also think it's a refreshing change to the layout, so I'm all for this new version of Vertigo. Kind of reminds me of an older version of Vertigo years ago. I'll stop here, but please comment down below what you think of this update. If you managed to stay with me until the end, thank you so much. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.